got the touch.
Stan Bush here, and you're about to transform and roll out only on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hello and welcome to All Things Transformers. I am, of course, TFG and Mike. Steve Megatron is off playing with his rubber ducky. I don't know what he's doing. Today we welcome back, for the first time in over just about 5 years or so, Mr. Stan Bush. Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. Sometimes I wish it would stop, but it's going. And Stan is putting 40 years of his career into one 10-CD box set.
You can win if you dare.
What prompted this?
Well, it occurred to me, I actually the last couple of years around Christmas time, we were thinking, wow, it'd be cool to have a box set. And anyway, this year I finally thought of it a couple of months ahead of time and was able to, put it all together. I have, quantities of all these CDs, these albums that, it just felt great, a great idea to put them together in one box set, and had nice boxes printed up and all that. So it's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you've been in the music business over 40 plus years. What went into the decision of putting the 10 albums in that you have in the set?
Well, they're really, I think, the first two albums in the actual 80s were vinyl albums, and I don't own the rights to those two. The first one, Stan Bush, and the second one, Stan Bush and Barrage. Those are, the rights are with Sony,
okay.
Sony Music. So, but I have 12 albums since then, 10 of which I thought were just, really good. And so, yeah, I just, like I say, I just decided that 10 would be the magic number. And so we, I'm very excited about it. It goes right up through and including the latest one, Dare to Dream.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I remember, since we've been talking to each other since about 2009, 2010, I think you are hands down, you are the most repeated guest on the Geekcast Radio Network at this point, because I've done interviews with you like almost every time you've put something out, which is great because, it gets you coverage, it gets me, a cool interview with you, and every so often you'd send me one that's autographed, and I still have all of them. I think you started sending them to me with Dream the Dream back in 2010, because that was when I first started doing the reviews and everything else, and man, it's just awesome. And this box set looks like it's going to be amazing.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm really proud of it. It's like I say, looking through all these, it's like, wow, did I really do all this stuff? And
yep.
Each one represents, like 3 years of hard work and recording and writing and just, I just really proud of the songs. I think they're, mostly really great. And it's been a cool thing. It's sort of like you get to a point in life where you're like, wow, I've really done a lot of stuff, So, it's, I should be more humble, I guess, but I am proud of it.
Well, I mean, what the thing of it is you have every, it's your thing. You're a musician. This is your craft. This is your artistry. With podcasting, like mine, not that my resume needed to be padded anymore, but basically my new, oh, you need a podcast editor? My new resume is the Geekcast Radio Network's Top 100 Transformers Characters Countdown, because I put in over 100 hours of work for that thing, and in total, all 6 parts average out to 11 hours of content. So it's not about doing a humble brag or about being, overzealous about what you've done. And, you're an amazing musician. You know, like I said at the beginning of this, 40 plus years in the music industry. And the one thing with you that I've noticed, and it's a good thing, is that you still have the same sound that you had in 1986 or 1985 when you first started working on The Touch or Dare, or, because we hear it all things Transformers, we always have to bring it back to Transformers.
You got the touch. You got the power. You got the power. You got the touch. You got the power. Touch. Touch. You got the touch. Touch. You got the power.
But in those other albums and every album that I've ever seen you do in your discography, you're always the positive musician. You're always writing positive lyrics. You're always having positive melodies. You're always bringing a message to whoever's going to listen to the stuff. And
thank you.
Everybody needs to listen to Stan Bush, hands down. He's not just... I hear this a lot, and it makes me cringe. Because, again, I consider you a friend because we've talked so much over the last 13 years or so. It's like, oh, Stan Bush, the Transformers. No, he's not just that. Stop right there. Don't do it. Listen to this album, and this album, and you'll see that he is much more. Than just the person that does some of the Transformers music.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, it's a lot of people don't know, I guess, from that I do all this other stuff. It's sort of I've went since the sort of implosion of 80s rock at the end of the 80s and beginning of the 90s. A lot of the business I did making records and carrying on was in Europe and Japan, and where melodic rock was still alive. And anyway, it's really cool because a lot of the fans I have over there have been loyal fans for a number of years, decades even. And anyway, it's cool that I didn't really have to change who I was, to stay viable and all that. So But thank you for the kind words. I appreciate it. But as far as, like you mentioned, my voice, one of the things that I've been blessed is not having to tour like some of these guys from the 80s, the singers and whatnot in these bands. They toured for, months and months, years on end, trying to sing all that crazy high stuff. And it really, it's hard to keep those high notes, and a lot of people don't have that high range anymore. So I've been blessed in that regard. So.
Yeah, and I mean, BotCon has had you at several things. TFCon has had you at several things. You've done other conventions besides those. And I'm sure back, then you were also doing tours. It may not have been like superstar stadium tours, but you were still touring. As a musician, that's part of the gig. That's part of the thing where, you should be able to tour. But like you said, with your voice, you haven't needed to tour as much, and that has kind of saved your voice a bit. What is the highest note that you have in all of your songs?
Well, I have back in the Barrage album. There's a screen that's actually a high E, but normally, like the touch, that high note is a D.
Right.
Wow, that high note, is a D. Mm-hmm. So that's about the top end. Full voice, I don't go much above that, even on a good day.
Yeah, and as you said, with you, not needing to change your voice or modify your voice or whatever from the transition of the melodic rock into whatever I can only imagine in some weird Transformers Shattered Glass universe, Shattered Glass Stan Bush. Oh my God, I'm a '90s grunge singer. No, that's not.
I never had to make that transition. Fortunately. No, but it was different and a lot of attitude, and an emotion too, So you got to give it that.
Yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but looking back over these records, I'm like, wow, this is, I really, really proud of this stuff. A lot of these songs are terrific, and I've had the ability not ability, but blessings of working with some of the best too. Like the very first oldest album in the collection is called Every Beat of My Heart. And I have songs with Jonathan Cain from Journey. Also Jim Vallance, who co-wrote all the Bryan Adams stuff and Aerosmith and a bunch of other stuff. Just terrific writers. Brett Tuggle, he toured with David Lee Roth and some of these guys. He and I wrote a song. So it's a collection of really good stuff on that album. And again, it's got the 80s thing going on, and that album came out in early 90s in Germany, in Europe, and of course the ones after that each one has their own sort of story to tell. The Child Within, I got into kind of a 90s, not what I mean is during the 90s, I got into kind of more of an acoustic thing. And Call to Action was that's featuring some of the stuff I did, like from the Transformers and other, like the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies. The song Never Surrender is on Call to Action, as well as the Touch and Dare. And so, yeah. And, moving on ahead, Heaven was, again, some really powerful 80s stuff that I did. And then, there's 6 after that, the beginning with Shine. I think it was 2001. Anyway, that one I worked with, Kurt Cuomo, who he wrote songs with Kiss and Eddie Money and produced those people. And so, In This Life, of course, after that I consider one of my best. It was my very favorite album until possibly the newest one. I really like all of them for different reasons. Dream the Dream's got a bunch of great songs, as well as The Ultimate. Changed the World. It's all it's been a progression, and like I say, the some of the songs just really resonate with me. I got into a little bit more of I have the 80s rock, like you said, the positive message kind of thing, the anthem and it's just part of who I am. I think that stuff started with the Touch. I just really got inspired about there's a thing, it really is true. We sort of make our own reality in the world, in this life, and if you really set your mind to it and believe in yourself, and you can do amazing things. And it's kind of all about focus and in general positivity, I guess. And it's I have to try to be on guard for the cheese factor, but I think that people this kind of message resonates with people. And I used to get fan mail from people about these songs, what they meant to them as kids and stuff, like The Touch and Dare and things. And it's just it's very humbling, to hear that stuff. It's I like the idea of trying to be a positive force in the world. It's
yeah, absolutely, and you absolutely are. I mean, you you mentioned the cheese factor, and when I first heard, and I love the song, but when I first heard and saw the 80s, I'm like, oh, Stan. And then I listened to it, and I like had it on repeat, and I'm like,
Thought those days would last forever. Seemed that life had just begun. I turn up the radio and head into the sun. Can't stop this feeling of the 80s. For me, the dream still lives on. Wow.
yeah, this is the anthem of the 80s, because the 80s has never died, and the 80s will never go away, and you're keeping that alive.
yeah. Thank you.
I think the only time new, and I know most of your new stuff, like you said, Change the World and Dare to Dream. Dare to Dream is the most recent album that that you've done, besides the new box set thing, which is a collection. But with the 80s, it's like the only way new 80s music is going to die is whenever it happens. Heaven forbid it happen anytime soon. Not trying to curse anything. Once you pass away, that's when new 80s music that sounds like the actual 80s dies.
Oh yeah.
Because I listen to that, I listen to Stan Bush, the 80s, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much the anthem of that decade at this point.
Thank you.
I have a question now. You've done other things. You've done other music stuff and other singles. What came first? Was it Ground Zero or was it Till All Are One? Because it is the same song. It's just changed. Ground Zero, you're at Ground Zero, but in Till All Are One, it's changed to some of the lyrics are changed, but it is essentially the same song.
Yeah. Musically, it's the same song. That was Ground Zero was on Call to Action.
Yep.
In '97, I believe. But yeah, we when the first Michael Bay Transformers films came out, we wanted to write like a Transformers anthem, and the music from Ground Zero was like perfect, and so anyway, we wrote the lyrics to be Till All Are One, and the song's just huge. It came out great. It's a bonus track on the In This Life album. So. But,
I was curious about how the differences in which like Ground Zero was first and then it was changed to Till All Are One.
That's right. Yeah. I just borrowed the music. I'll have to sue myself, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. That wouldn't work. So the box set is out now. Yep. It is $100, folks. And if you order, this interview will be out way before this deadline I'm going to mention. If you order before December 1st, 2021, Stan will sign each box set. Is that?
Yes, in gold.
In gold. There you go, folks. The price of gold just shot up. Is there anything else you would like to impart on my listeners? And is there going to be a new album next year or in a couple of years? Are you working on anything now? You have this box set going on, but are you working on new stuff currently?
Yeah. There's a movie I won't mention yet because everything's still sort of in the works. But yeah, we're working on a couple of big songs for a new movie that's should come out this coming year, and there'll be a new album, of course, as well. So yeah, always moving forward, and it's things are going great.
Absolutely. All right, folks, you heard it here first. The 10 CD box set, the Stan Bush collection. Go get it on stanbush.com. And we will catch you next time here on All Things Transformers. Where can the people find you on social, Stan?
The links are on the stanbush.com site. I don't offhand know what they are, but yeah, just check there.
Yeah, he's on Facebook, Twitter. I do know those. And the links will be in the post, folks. So transform and transcend, and we will catch you next time here on All Things Transformers.
Thanks, Mike.
Oceans apart, there's mountains between us, but that won't stop me now. We've drifted away for all the wrong reasons. I'll get to you somehow, no matter how hard I try to stay away. Something inside reminds me, girl, love is the road. Stand up for